You look! Oh, hold back. Run inside. Well done. Switch on now, come on!
After a full week off last week for the South Australian Country Football Championships, a very successful Country Footy Championships for Centrals in the men's, with the women's also doing well to take out third. We are back in the Adelaide Plains Football League for round 12, and we have our match of the day ready to go in a match that can potentially determine the finals fate for either side. Virginia at home at Sneaky's Oval against Hamley Bridge. The Rams up against the Bombers. Louis Balzomi here with you for Filming Footy. And we thank our wonderful sponsors, Dartfish, Archie's, UTF Trailers, Domenico and Macron. Well, for the home side, we thank Bendigo Bank, Sneaky's, Collins Transport, Wide Electrical and Pool Envy. We've got the great Dino Proctor behind the camera once again doing wonderful things. He has it firmly locked in on the coin toss right now. We see the skipper for the Bombers, Angus Judd, winning that one. And he points to the right of your screen, which will be the community playground end of the Virginia Sports Oval, because we see the wonderful and very busy Port Wakefield Road, the old Port Wakefield Road in the background right there. Of course, Judd, part of that very successful Central Zone Championship winning side last week. And Daniel Kapara was also in that squad. In fact, he was one of the best players in the final, in that thrilling final against Northern, where Northern charged home in the final term. But brilliant Central Zone side able to hold them off by the barest of margins. Just the 1 point separating the two at the death. While on the women's side of things, the coach of the Bombers, Brett Burgess, who is enjoying his 3rd season at the helm, he was appointed the coach of the women's side, and after splitting the difference in the first couple of rounds, they were able to then take out 3rd overall in their final game. So a bit of a tough one to start with on the Friday night, but then coming home hard with 2 great results on the Saturday to take out the bronze medal in the end. So fantastic work overall. Changes for both sides. They both made 3, and there are no late changes with the last team sheets submitted. So thanks to all and sundry for getting those in. The ins for the Rams, Jack McCafferty returns. Seb Hanks, who will start on the bench, along with Stephen Drainer and Aidan Ponton. The other in being Nathan Warren. Francesco Mussolino, who's had to do quite a fair bit of work, 8-quarter style in recent times. Back in the reserves today. Jet Petts back in the under-17s. Adrian Mark also making way. While on the other side, the Bombers welcome back Darcy Thompson. They welcome back Patrick Winter and Kurt Wilson. Killen Bishop and Declan Redden both omitted. Zachary Mullen running around in the 2s today. The 2s for the Bombers had a huge win over the Rams, which unfortunately means that Virginia still without a win in the seconds for now 2 years and 20 days. Their last win in the reserves actually coming against Hamley Bridge back on the 29th of June 2024. A very long time of doing drinks, and who would have thought it was only 6 years ago where Virginia had both their sides in the respective grand finals. Sadly, that day not coming away with either title. Fortunately, 2 Wells, 2 strong in the reserves, and Malala pulling away in the final quarter after it was only 4 points of difference at 3-quarter time, and only 15 points of difference Malala's way with not many minutes remaining. 17-minute mark of the final term. The grand final of 2020 was still in the balance. But anyway, that's well in the past now. Sonny Gregan in his 1st season at the helm, the playing coach of Virginia, hoping to get their fortunes back on track as we get set for the first term. The ball is thrown up and Shahinja just waits for that one to be tapped down by King. So King goes at it alone, and now the Rams, a couple of handballs there. Wellington, the captain, involved. Now into Graham, having to try and bust his way through. Can't quite, but the umpire says held to him, will get a ball up. Good tackling work there by Ethan Kane from the Bombers. Now this time, the big fella, Shahinja, gets the tap down. All part of the plan. Just wait for the centre one to be taken by the Oppo, become another rover, and then work him overtime around the ground as the Bombers now scrounge a kick forward. The pickup was absolutely exquisite by Zach McCabe. Of course, part of the McCabe dynasty here at Hamley Bridge. Of course, young Will, drafted as the father's son at Hawthorn. Of course, Luke McCabe, the first out-and-out star, drafted back in the 90s. Certainly remember him quite well. In a golden era of AFL football, no question about it. Maybe not so much from a Hawks perspective, because their era had just ended by the time Luke joined the club. In any case, McCabe family certainly enriched here at Hamley Bridge, as now the Rams clear away from defence, off hands and out of bounds. Hood and also Bayliss contesting there. So we'll see. Our wonderful volunteers helping out on the boundary. As we know, in South Australian leagues, last disposal is a key pillar of their rules, and they do it to pretty much perfection, including the SANFL, unlike our AFL counterparts who have brought the rule in this year, as we see a free kick going the way of Hamley Bridge for a bit of holding before the ball reached the vicinity, and Zach Fairley will take it. Taking a look at Fairley's season thus far as we see the kick go online. Picture perfect, nice and straight. There's your first goal. Just under 3 minutes gone here in this opening term. That's going the way of Hamley Bridge. Yeah, just going back to Zach Fairley's season so far. It's goal number 24 in game number 11. And he's only missed out on one occasion, and that was in the previous game 2 weeks ago against Angle Vale. Season best of 5 in the previous game against Angle Vale, so definitely the complete 180 in terms of individual results against one of the premier sides of the competition. As we see the ball move to centre half forward for the Bombers once again. Redden ensures it stays there with the tackle. And now the big fella, Shahinja, out muscling. Told you he was going to try and outwork his ruck opponent, as now the Bombers surge forward. And that one there, barely the 15, but it's going to be accepted. Liolios takes the mark for the Rams. Side take up his allotted 10. Prefers the long option here, despite the presenting work of Marquez Graham. Goes for the big fella in King. Can't take it. Off hands. It'll be a tackle, ball up. Delena doing wonderful work there as well. So already Hamley Bridge putting some good forward pressure on. As King gets that tap down. Trying to find his way through there. Was that Graham again? Fortunately though, the initial fend off meant, in actual fact it was Sharp that time, Matty Sharp the 8. The initial fend off meant prior opportunity was already taken. So irrespective of whether or not he had a legitimate attempt to have a crack at it, once you put the fend off and you get tackled, that's pretty much your concession of prior opportunity, as the free kick was taken and the pass into the vice-captain Luke Taylor for Hamley Bridge. Checking his season in front of goal so far. He's kicked the 10 and been pretty consistent all the way through. 1 goal in each of his last 3 games, 5 of his last 6. Won't be a goal that one, but a goal assist beckons. And once again, Fairley the man. Beautiful contested mark. Gazelled across from out of the goal square. And you'd think it should be a soda. We don't like commentators' curses here on Film In Footy, and that's certainly not one of them. And he's got both of the goals so far. The entire scorebook belongs to Zach Fairley. 2 straight for Hamley Bridge. No score, no advancement past centre pretty much for the home side, Virginia. 5.5 gone in this opening term. So back to the middle again. We leaped from King that time, but Shahinja won the tap down. Virginia might be able to get the clearance here, but Taylor I should say, who started on the interchange bench, has a bit to say about that. Unfortunately took too long to get rid of that footy. Free kick Virginia. Here's their first inside 50 attempt, and they've got a mark just on the prefaces of it. And it's the skipper Wellington. Waste no time to get the top of the square. Not a bad effort. Unfortunately though, the mark not completed. Play on will be the call. Hamley Bridge dodge a bullet there. Their first real defensive test so far. And they maintain possession here. Well done, Redden, to get that one clean off his bootlaces. The kick comes towards Fairley, just bamboozles him here on centre wing broadcast side. He mops up well with a tackle on Planega. As the ball spills free, back into Bombers' hands here. Delena does some great 1-2 work, and now the kick goes up and booming inside 50. That would have carried at least 60, if not more. Judd, the captain, Angus, couldn't quite take it. Still alive, now it's out. Pressured by Zach McCabe that time to force it out off the hands of the returning Nathan Warren. Warren, one of 3 changes for the Rams. Both sides making 3 changes to their last starts from a fortnight ago. His first game since round 7, where he did start in the corresponding match against Hamley Bridge. So certainly a welcome return for Sonny Gregan's team, as now the Bombers skipper Angus Judd takes it on centre wing. Long ball, beautiful ball. Not phased at all by any defensive screening whatsoever. Picked out the teammate in space from 40 out, who now runs on and slams it home. Textbook work, and it was Luke Taylor, the vice-captain, skipper to vice-skipper, the leadership of Hamley Bridge on excellent display in those two possessions right there. Ominous signs already. Bring straight 18 to no score. And the cleanliness of the Bombers so far has certainly been enjoyable to watch already in these opening 8 minutes. Not so from a home team point of view. So once again, Changer reaches over the top of King, but King, I reckon, did get that last hand to it. So that allows the Rams now to have the clearance towards left half forward. Handball comes in towards Hanks. He's one of the three inclusions as well. Turns it to his right. Still a live ball here for the Rams. They fight hard down on ground level. Good work by the coach in Gregan. Force it forward by hand. Now here's a chance for Hanks, who runs on. Fights for it on all fours. Does okay to lock it up. Good work by Seb Hanks. Great follow-up from the initial kick in. Reach over top this time, Shahinja. Does well. Into Kane. Rides the tackle nicely and gets the release now. Luke Taylor once again, I think, doing the work at both ends. That ball there just bamboozling Redden. Chance here for a 2-on-1 for Virginia. Planeja hits solidly, but the ball stays alive. Now it's in Thompson's hands for Hamley Bridge. The short ball's okay here to Angus Judd. What can the captain do here? Will he look for Luke Taylor once again? Nope, doesn't need him that time. All there spilled for the Bombers, but they recover and dive it in nicely. That one not on a half volley. That one clean taken on the full. Redden, who helped get the ball advancing forward from centre wing on the old Port Wakefield Road side. Chance for 4 out of 4 for Hamley Bridge. Headaches aplenty for Virginia. And the kick is pretty good. More than pretty good. It's home. So Redden joins the goal kicking party. 1 for him, Luke Taylor with 1, 2 already for Zach Fairley. And a goal every couple of minutes is the average so far for the Bombers. All straight to no score. And once again, so much time and poise shown by Angus Judd. Huge reason why he has been bestowed the responsibility of being the captain, leading from the front. Well, time will have to be put into him, you'll be sure, as he tries to put the tackling pressure on there again. But this time, no, Virginia are able to win it out. Wellington, the opposition skipper, gets this one inside 50, kicks it towards grass. Getting there first, though, is Henry McCabe. Does well. And now the Bombers get out of danger. Taylor once again towards centre wing, over the head of Redden, the last goal kicker. He can push forward, we know that. I think it was Matty Taylor that time that gathered it at left half forward, and now they surge again. Oh, danger once more for Virginia, running back and keeping it alive. I reckon it was Zaberski there to number 2. Undisciplined play, going back into a teammate on a better angle in Winter. One of the 3 inclusions for the Bombers today. He decides that maybe going for goal will be the preferred option for him. Backing himself in with the distance. Umpire just tells him just to straighten back up over his mark. You know how much of a headache that is at AFL level. We won't even get into that. If anything to do with umpiring the AFL level, I'll just bite my tongue on, as that one just falls short and it's off hands for first blemish of the afternoon for Hamley Bridge. 4-1-25, no score the other way for Virginia, but they have had a couple of looks inside 50, which is a bit promising after it certainly looked like it was going to be all one-way traffic, even on that stat. As that kicking is a booming one, straight into Cooper Taylor's hands, and he is keen to get off like a rocket. Gets around Winter after a couple of dance moves left and right. Finds a player in space in Hood. Hood now, waste no time either, and the weight of the kick was superb. Thought he might have been a little bit rushed, but he made a fool out of me. As Sharp's kick there, off hands. It's going to work out, is it? No, I think it was touched off hands, unfortunately for Taylor. Well, may have just missed either way. It's a minor score. We'll credit it to Cooper Taylor, who started all that play on the wing and then ran faster than Gout to get forward and create an opportunity. Good work, good gut running work from young Cooper Taylor. So the first score on the board for the home side. Unfortunately, Joe Minor won, but at least they've proven that they can go coast to coast. They can make it click as now Tom Judd takes the ball in the middle. That's a mark or downfield, is it? Either way. Ball's in the hands here of Ash Parsons, who presented well. And it is still a Hamley Bridge ball. So either way, downfield free, mark. Whoever the statistician is, doesn't matter. It's going to be a shot on goal. Big Ash Parsons. We'll see what he can do to keep the scoreboard ticking nicely for the visitors. He's got 2 games in the reserves this year. He's kicked 12 goals in his 9 senior appearances. Best on ground performance against the Eagles back in round 10 despite a heavy defeat. As that one gets the distance, not the accuracy unfortunately. On behind for the Rams, 4-2-26 for the Bombers. And once again, the Rams, a couple of kicks already into the middle. Good mark taken there by Kapara. Already mentioned Kappa being part of Central Zone's triumph last week and in their best team as well. And that kick was another reason why he was selected. Straight into McCafferty's hands. And he'll have the shot from barely 25 out. Let's have a see what McCafferty can do. From directly in front, skips in on the left, looks fantastic. Just what the doctor ordered for the home side. Ramming it home. 117 to 4-2-26. Margin back to 19. In our match of the day for the Adelaide Plains Football League, round 12 on Filming Footy. All thanks to Dartfish, Archies, UTF Trailers, Doman & Co. and Macron. Of course, we thank the Bendigo Bank, Sneakies, Collins Transport, Wide Electrical and Pool Envy on behalf of the Virginia Football Club as well. So once again, Virginia showing that they can do it coast to coast nicely. When they get that beautiful space along the broadcast wing, it's just a matter of being able to hold up the surges from Hamley Bridge going the other way when they do falter, trying to get it inside 50. They get another clearance here again. Well done there by Jaden Denny. And again, another beautifully well-weighted kick to it forward on the lead. And it's Sharp once more. Seen him lead well a couple of times so far. This time he's going to back himself in instead of trying to rush for another option. It wasn't a bad option last time he did it because Taylor got himself in a dangerous spot. This time he'll back himself in. Will Matthew Sharp. Got some swing on that. Oh! Get him in the Aussie cricket team with an in-swinger like that one. What a slicer. 2-1-13 to 4-2-26. The Rams are back. Here at Sneaky's Oval. What a goal from Matty Sharp. That's another promising sign for him as well. Winning that centre clearance, which has been Hamley Bridges' domain so far in this game. As we see once again now, Shahinja happy to stay stationary on the ground while he lets his opposition ruck do all the flying around, but it's starting to work into Virginia's way. Hands now as well. And Sharp now presents well outside of 50 to get this handball received. Into Kapara, who goes backwards again. This is good composed footy here. Graham now steers this one. Off hands. Still a live ball to be won here. Hanks, handball. They've got it out the back here. Another goal. That's 3 in a row. Blink of an eye stuff from Virginia. And the big fella, Wellington, finishes it off. Good handball from Hood too to help release him at the death there. And that's worth putting the clicker back over. In fact, McCafferty was the man, was he? Just on a double check. Yeah, it was McCafferty with his second goal. Something, of course, the skipper Wellington would be very proud of watching on too. It was well set up by Hood at the back. So, game certainly back on here at Sneaky's Oval. Once again, Virginia, another centre clearance. It's on a string for him at the moment. Taylor hugs the boundary line. Off hands. Can I get another one at the back here? Almost a trap there by Drainer, who swapped the 12 for the 15 with McCafferty's return today. Wore 12 2 weeks ago. Good work there by Gregan, the coach, to keep this alive. Still around left half forward here for the Rams. Fighting hard there is Hood. Was he held without the footy? No, he gave it away. He made head-high contact as he charged through, maybe. Anyway, free kick goes to the Bombers. Maybe a huge sigh of relief for them, because that may have just killed off the Rams' momentum for the time being, as now Winter. Careful football here into Zabeski. Start on the interchange bench for this game. Handball to his skipper Judd. Angus inside 50. Target there was Fairley, but good work there from Matthews, who gave away a lot of size. Certainly not a lot of heart, though. He got plenty of that, as we know. As the ball tumbles now out of bounds in the left forward pocket. As we know, in the South Australian leagues, last disposal applies to the entire ground, not just between the 50s. Bombers the man there to take the free kick for Virginia. Back to right half back, fighting hard again. Little engine that could. Matthews doesn't care who's coming after him. Bring it on, he says. And he gets the ball up. Well done. Great defensive work. So from the restart here, dug out by Shahinja, but straight to the opposition as it comes to centre wing. Trying to mark it there was Henry McKay. Bounced off his chest, but he gained some meterage out of that. So it'll count as a 1%er. In my book, anyway. All up, left half forward. Ginger there taking front position, got the tap down, but this time hasn't got the cavalry to make it a hit out to advantage. Virginia starting to get on top in the stoppage stat and the clearance stat. As they force another ball up here. Ponton involved, Matthews there too. Loving the great work of Bo Matthews, the defensive work of him in the last minute or so. Now Shahinja just goes big whack to gain territory inside 50. Comes out here from Luke Taylor. Can't find a teammate though. And here they come again, the Rams. This is fantastic. I reckon there might have been Woodrow there coming through the middle. Or Warren, take your pick. It was Woodrow in actual fact, who sliced them and diced them. Hood trying to fight a couple of them. Still keeps the ball within the half-forward area, and then now gets some support from Taylor. That was fantastic again from Virginia. That deserves a round of applause. All started with Ryder Woodrow taking the game on through the middle and finding a gap in between three opponents. And they could have easily coughed that up. That would have been the first 10 minutes. That would have been an easy turnover and a potential Hamley Bridge shot on goal. Not for the last 10. No question about it. Virginia right up to their skins in this. There's a head-high contact is made. Free kick will go the Rams' way. This will be taken by Darcy Rundle. A bit of a maul of a kick, that one, unfortunately. As now Tom Judd shrugs off the tackle. High ball, but not a long ball. Bang crash. Zabeski rode that one solidly. He's feeling the worst for wear, I reckon. He's moving, though, which is a good sign. He'll probably just say, oh, well, flesh wound, I'll get up. And he does. That's promising. In all seriousness, though, it's good to see he's okay. No concern as we now see Victor Hara in the ruck there for the Rams. A little self-handball for Graham, almost Kevin Bartlett style. Now he finds a teammate in Sharp who goes long into the square. Bombers defence holds up okay on this occasion, and then Simon squeezes out a kick to left half back. Nick Taylor able to run onto this one. Plenty of Taylors in this side, 3 of them in actual fact, including the vice captain in Luke, who has a goal to his name so far. On centre wing, presenting there is Fairley, who has 2 goals to his name, helping out up the ground, and now it opens up down the back here. Parsons with an opportunity. Does shrug off the would-be tackler. It's an open forward line, and this is what Hamley Bridge were doing so well in the first half of this term. Mark taken by Thompson, plays on. It's broken down here for Virginia. Sadly, Kane makes them pay. One against the grain. If the last 10 or so minutes were anything to go by. The Bombers now get a 5-2-32. Rams 3-1-19, who have been exquisite, as we mentioned in those last 10 minutes, the home side. Unfortunately, though, not able to finish off their great work with that last forward 50 entry. And this time, Hamley Bridge able to get from defence to attack quite well. They kept the forward line wide open, pushed a lot of their main forwards up, and then their quick runners snuck out the back. And it was too much for the Virginia defence to handle on the overlap. So let's see what the Rams can do in response here. They force a stoppage on the restart. Work by Wellington, the captain, to help out with that. See once again Shahinja doing all the ruck work in his first term for the Bombers, but Wellington gets this ball up forward now for the Rams. Marking target was Kapara, couldn't take it. Watches it go on here as it's scrapped hard and fought hard by Taylor. I really love Cooper Taylor's aggression around the footy. There's 4 Taylors all up in this contest. 1 for Virginia, 3 for Hamley Bridge. Don't worry, we've got your first names covered here on Filming Footy with Louis Balzami. On the call, of course, Dino Proctor doing great work behind the camera. There's this one now. Scooped up by Graham. Waiting as a quarterback. Off hands here. Sharp. Open goal. Got it. He has 2. McCafferty with 2 as well. As the great Lou Richards, the late great Lou Richards would say, and those of you who were following VFL back in the day, what a ring-a-ding-ding we have in this contest. Also gives away them for Victoria. Anyway, we've certainly got a great love for South Australia, though. Just quickly on a personal note, thanks to the Royal Adelaide Hospital, they were able to extend my father's life 14 more years back in the 90s. So always will love Adelaide, no matter what. 4-1-25 to 5-2-32. And I'm loving this game. It's my first taste of Adelaide Plains football. If this is what the standard's going to be like, give us more of it. Hopefully that's not a curse for later on. As we see a restart. There's Judd once again, Angus, doing the heavy in and under work. As Hamley Bridge now get it out towards centre wing on the old Port Wakefield Road side. Fighting hard there. Kane just couldn't trap the ball though. Didn't want to agree with him on that occasion. Now Virginia get another opportunity. Squeezy ball towards right half forward. Attempt at a holding the man tackle. Umpire not fazed by it though. Would have gone Virginia's way had it have been paid. Ball up. Once again, hard scrap. And a stoppage once more. And big Nathan Warren, I think, involved there with the tackling for the Rams. Now at time, Tom Judd trying to do the ruck work for Hamley Bridge, just sort of shoved out of that by his bigger opponent. Now it comes in front of the scoreboard, but good work there by the defence of the Bombers to steer clear. Mark taken here by Colhagen. First time we've called his name today, Malachi. And Taylor, the one who cleared it out for Hamley Bridge initially, but it was a well come back with interest here as King steps up. The prime ruck for the Rams and gets the mark. Ball out back into the middle. Kane, did he get into his opponent's back? Umpire said no. Wellington forces one forward, and his father was Tom Judd, who does well to ride the tackle and get the handball free, and now Nick Taylor has some space at right half back. Steers a pass right down the broadcast wing. Marking target was Fairley. Had one coming over the top of him, but the body work was not too bad. And now he ensures that Graham can't pick that one up cleanly. And because it is off hands, we should get a boundary throw in here. And so we will. And of course, last disposal, not last touch, especially when it is in dispute. Told you the South Australian leagues know how to do it and do it very well. As umpire is going to say to the young ump, let's have another crack at that. Let's have another go. Tapped down by King. Hanks straight onto it. Straight onto him was Zach McKay with the tackle. It's another ball up. 28 minutes gone here in this opening term. 7-point lead to the Bombers, but they were 25 points up on a couple of occasions. And this lead could well be won here, although unfortunately Kapara's kick, though, was a scrubber and an absolutely clean bowled sharp, and away come the Bombers once again. Taylor with the steering pass. Mark there, unfortunately not taken, but they've still got enough numbers here, though, to have another crack at this one. Henry McCabe obliges here for the Bombers, and sliding in. He's done it a couple of times in this term, Darcy Thompson. To mention one of the 3 inclusions for Hamley Bridge, and the play on happens a second too late, unfortunately. And the siren goes to end a very entertaining first quarter, which threatened to be a blowout. Hamley Bridge with the early jump, the first 4 goals of the game, first 25 points scored of the match. But then Virginia responded in kind with 3 in the space of about 3 minutes. Then a steady up for the visitors, courtesy of Ethan Kane. And then Matty Sharp finished off with a response after that. So quarter time, 5-2-32 to 4-1-23. It's Hamley Bridge, who are currently 5th on the ladder in front of the team right below them, both on the same number of points. But Hamley Bridge, of course, with the edge on percentage. Virginia 4-1-25. We'll take a break. Before we do, though, we want to thank our sponsors again for the Virginia Football Club, Bendigo Bank, Sneakies, Collins Transport, Wide Electrical and Pool Envy, and for Filming Footy, Dartfish, Archie's, UTF Trailers, Domain & Co, and Macron. Weebles Amy here for Filming Footy. We'll be back soon.
Our name is derived from the Greek prefix, macro, large. From the day we were born, this has been a promise for the future. We have grown through dedication, sweat, self-denial, faithful to our mission of being on the side of those who put themselves on the line. Through our name, we celebrate the greatness of those who believe there are no obstacles higher than their dreams. The courage to get back up after falling. The obstinacy of believing until the end. These are the values embedded in our logo. The Macron Hero. It's a celebration of sacrifice and tenacity. Up until your personal victory. Until your arms are in the sky. Become your own hero.
Yeah, certainly is perfect timing. Just having a good chat off air with our wonderful ground tech, Alejandro Piantadosi. Certo, of course. Piacere, Alejandro. As we get ready for the start of the second term, teams coming back out from their respective huddles. What a first term. Tale of two halves in a way, but what a great comeback, though, by Hamley Bridge. Sorry, probably Virginia Rams, I should say. Hamley Bridge got their fast start, but Virginia were the ones who absolutely wowed the crowd with that 3-goal in 3-minute burst to get themselves right up to their necks in this contest. The margin at 7 points at the first change, 5-2-32 to 4-1-25. Goal kickers for the Bombers. It was Zach Fairley who kicked the first 2 goals of the game, joined after by Luke Taylor, Ethan Kane and Austin Redden. Kane with the last of those, which helped stop the onslaught coming the other way from the Rams, while it's 2 goals apiece for Jack McCafferty and Matthew Sharp for Virginia. So, what a contest we have here for our Filming Footy Adelaide Plains Football League match of the day in round 12 at Sneaky's Oval. And we go back to the last time these two sides met. Only 18 points separated them. Hamley Bridge getting the chocolates on that occasion, back on their home deck. Way back in round 7 as the second quarter now commences. And they're fighting hard. There was Luke Taylor, but just half sort of shrugged off that. But he goes after it again and rips it right out of Wellington's hands. No, the Rams skipper won't like that. You want another go at him as he comes across him now. Allows a teammate to just screen him, and Sharp is the man who does that. This one is forced forward for Hamley Bridge. And taken by Graham. Once again, tackled, though, by Thompson. Just starting to see that pressure, the tackling pressure around the footy again for Hamley Bridge. Just like the way they started the first term. One tap down and then putting it onto the ground. There was Kane on its point. Recomposed himself inside 50. Redden off hands. Goes after it again. Well done. Fights out with the handball. Teammate wasn't there initially, but great tackling pressure again from Thompson. 2 to start off in his first term. Releases Colhagen. And presenting there, big man Fairley again. Oh, take a bow, Darcy Thompson. 2 vital tackles within a matter of a couple of stoppages and plays. One on the centre wing and one now deep into attack, which has created this opportunity for Fairley to put through his third. So a good start to the second term for the Bombers. As Fairley now kicks goal number 26 for the season. Let's have a quick check leading into the round. Who was leading it? Balaclava's Shane Moss, 33 goals. Caleb Edmead for 2 wells on 32. Jaden Goodfellow for Anglevale, 28. Joshua Studham for the Eagles on 27. So Fairley came into the round equal 5th with Jacob Thompson from 2 wells. So he'll be possibly giving the top of the leading goal kicker tree a shake today with the way he's going. But anyway, we'll see if Virginia can respond in kind. Hood does very, very well. High ball, nearly a hospital one. Well read by Bayliss getting back. And he's happy to potentially concede. Draws the opponent in to ensure it won't be called deliberate against him. and one behind is what ensues. So fantastic composure there by Bayliss on the last line of defence. 4-2-26 play, 6-2-38. Hamley Bridge now try to go coast to coast. It's stopped though. As getting back involved here is Matthews. And will receive ill-directed kick into the middle to the big fella in Chahinja. Chahinja now off to Fairley. Does this quite well. Loves to start deep and then move up the ground to present also. Winter released its right half forward. And that's the reason why Fairley's so dangerous. Redden at the back is the man to have the shot. She's a hard matchup when he's on song, Zach Fairley. Tough to deal with when the ball's in the air, deep in the Hamley Bridge forward line, but equally tough, if not even tougher, when he starts galloping up the ground and presenting well. Did it a couple of times in the first term. On cue here. As Redden, with one to his name so far. Looks like it'll be two. No, one goal one. So will this be similar to the first term? It won't be exactly the same because Virginia already have a score on the board in this quarter, 2.5 minutes in. It took them nearly 13 minutes to get their first score in the first quarter, which was a behind off the boot of Cooper Taylor. But the early goal for Hamley Bridge and the opportunity now to maybe go again as they cut play off in the middle, up towards right half forward here. Redden, happy to ride the tackle from Graham. Does okay. Knew he didn't have prior. The umpire agreed. Ball up. So King with the tap down for the Rams. This time, though, the Bombers are able to win the clearance. Zach McCabe, once again, they might have just squeezed the kick out. Just over the head, though, of Delena. And Virginia look to reset yet again. It'll be off the boot here of Wellington. So the captain, up over the head of Cooper Taylor. Just probably got edged underneath it a little bit by Winter. That was well played by the Bombers defender moving up the ground. And then he coughs the ball up. Taylor does well to fight back again and prevent a repeat entry. That was well done by Cooper Taylor. And he spent after that, and not surprising because he put a lot of energy into it. He'll have to regather once again here. But he's got the support here from Woodrow. Hard up against the boundary line, but he's got the support here from Kapara. One step, two step, and now a high step. Off hands here. Denny does well. Charges in. Didn't care that Kane was into him, but Kane did well to hold on, bucking bull style. And so we'll get a ball up. Centre wing on the old Port Wakefield Road side. Fighting hard, too hard in the end. I mean, Kane once more, was it? Or Zach McCabe, 23, 32. I think it was the latter, giving up the free kick. And then unfortunately, the legs gave way for Sharp, and that allowed the turnover to be affected here by the Bombers. Can they make it a scoring turnover? Matthew Taylor gets the handball received. Finds a loose player at left half forward in Redden. Redden, though, straight into Matthews' hands. Unintentional, we know, but it was like a click of the fingers and Matthews, like a magician, just popped up out of a hat. Inside 50 it goes. Cooper Taylor might have missed that one in the sun, but he gathers again. Has some room. Rushed off the kick. Doesn't matter. Mark taken by King, resting the square. Off to Hood. Goal. Good counter-attack by Virginia, and it won't be like the first quarter. They won't prevent a 4-goal head start this time. They won't allow it. They have prevented it. Margin back to 7. And good to see Michael Hood get on the scoreboard as well. He helped with that fantastic team goal where he gave the last handball into McCafferty, where he kicked his second, and it was Virginia's third in as many minutes. Seb Hanks also involved in that play too. And now he gets one for reward himself. There's now Kapara doing the ruck work in the middle. Here comes Hood again. Sneaky as you like. Unfortunately, can't keep the ball inside. And it will be a turnover free kick. Will it? It will, but Henry McCabe, get back over your mark. Yes, might have been forgiven for not realising who was actually there, given the height difference. But he is there. So McCabe, Henry will start again. Here at right half back. Kane digs a handball out, but gets turned over. Inside 50, Sharp, has he got it? I hear a whistle. Is it a whistle for a mark or a whistle for a ball up? Because that was something else if it's a mark. The umpire says, give it to me. Oh, unfortunate. Hood was there too, but Sharp bustling in like a bowling ball. Unfortunately, not quite the strike, and eventually it was at 7-10 split. But anyway, it might not matter for Virginia because Kapara now has it, gets the clearance. Hood scragged off the footy. Is it a free kick going the way of the little fella? It is. For too high, is it? Well, Hamley Bridge defenders threw their heads back in disgust over the whistle coming in. But anyway, the ball is almost headed back into the CBD. That's how far it went. No, not only kidding. It's been brought back in now. So we're just waiting on the official decision here. I think it is a Virginia ball, and it will be. I'm pretty sure it's Hood that's got it. Try and steer this one around. That's something else. That's something else from the little hoodie. He's now got a couple. I was just happy for him to get one for all his efforts. Oh, everyone after that's a bonus. And well deserved too. And we now have a 1 point ball game here at Sneakies. (6-2) 38 Virginia, 6-3 39 Hamley Bridge. And the multiple goal kicking love continues for the home side. Sharp and McCafferty with 2 each in the first quarter. Hood now with a couple in this quarter. Virginia could well go on another roll here, will they? No, not that time. Good tackling work. It was Kane again rewarded, preventing the clearance being affected by Wellington. He comes out wide and finds a loose player in Cole Hagan. He moans on, but that one there not the best towards Fairley. Right to his shins, but Fairley does well, though, to follow up with the tackle. And he won't complain about it. He'll just get on with the job. So ball up inside the Bombers' forward line. A lead that was once 25 points on a couple of occasions in the first quarter. One at the 12-minute mark, another at the 14-minute mark. Now just one. And will it be evaporated on this play? Cooper Taylor with a bounce. Over the head there of Rundle, but there's some running players at the back here. This is fantastic. 3-man weave style for the Rams. And it finishes with a beautiful pass into Sharp as well. The Speed Demons, the Mosquito Fleet getting involved for Virginia. Cooper Taylor, Darcy Rundle. Mentioned what Hood's impact in this quarter already. Seb Hanks also doing some brilliant work, and now Sharp. One of 3 Rams players with 2 goals to his name so far today. Looking to break into outright leadership for goals for the home side. He can't with that shot to the left for one behind, but he does tie the scores up. 6-3, 39, each of 2. Season on the line stuff for both sides. Looking to keep pace with the top 4, even for third. Well, especially in Hamley Bridges' case, they're tied on points. The 2 sides directly above them. Hummock's Watchman, the side in third spot, as now the ball is brought out towards left half forward for the Bombers. Appeal there for last disposal. Falling on deaf ears, though, for the visitors. It was Tom Judd, I reckon, that was making that appeal. No, in actual fact, it was Luke Taylor. Apologies there, the vice-captain. Maybe say that for the skipper. Maybe Angus Judd would have gotten a bit more further with the conversation with the umpires. But anyway, we know that that's at AFL level. That usually it's the captains who are only allowed to talk to them when it comes to questioning decisions. Well, at least during breaks, we know that. Anyway, ball up. Said I wasn't going to talk about the umpires in the AFL too much. Let's digress back to the action here. King got the tap down for Virginia. Now Planega, diving handball, back into heavy traffic. Trying hard there was Ponton for the Rams. Now it comes out to the skipper, Wellington. Finds some space and pumps the ball in. Chaos ball. Will it work? McCaffrey tries to help it on its way, but there's no one home. Tom Judd is there, though. And he turns around, goes back in towards, I reckon this is Luke Taylor again. How long up? Long enough, he said, but he got it out just in time. Play goes on. Denny squeezed out of it, but still got enough of a kick into advantage. McCaffrey now takes on two. High ball, lateral. Cooper Taylor can't quite grab that one. Spilled by Nick Taylor. And now Thompson recovers, and the Bombers maintain possession, courtesy of Luke Taylor taking another diving mark. Inside 50 it goes. Shove out fairly. No, unfairly he thought. Anyway, it won't matter. Out the back, Nick Taylor. Dragged down. Ball still alive. Caden Baxter tries to regain for the Rams here, as does Cooper Taylor and Planega. Taylor, Cooper with the tackle on Taylor Nick. And a ball up inside the Bombers. Forward 50. Their lead is no more. It was 25, as we mentioned, on two occasions in the first term, 12-minute mark and 14-minute mark. It's 0 right now. Back out it comes. Nick Taylor does well. Spins out of trouble at right half forward. Handball into Zach McCabe. High ball. Fairly reached up. Couldn't take it. In actual fact, it was Redden that time. As Virginia escape, the mark is taken here by Woodrow. Woodrow's ball light's dangerous. Lateral back inside defensive 50, but luckily there was enough time and space for them to mop back up. And now the full switch is on. And it's a good one too. Leulius takes the mark. Stops, and then pops it up into Matthews. Did he spill it? Yes. Umpire has called him to play on, but he's okay because he's only got the big fellow in Shinja to worry about. Perceived pressure by the big number 37 ruck for the Bombers does the trick. And then Angus Judd takes the intercept mark, and now the Bombers themselves switch over to the old Port Wakefield Road side. But the switch back into the middle, dubious, because it brings Virginia back into play here. Denny cuts it off, rides the tackle, which has hurt his opponent there. We'll keep an eye on him. As Virginia now take this one back through the middle. I reckon that might have been sharp. That is presented up forward. And they've got another mark and a chance here to get the lead for the first time today. And we saw that Matthew Sharp couldn't break out to be the outright goal-kicking leader for the game for the Rams, but McCaffrey now has that opportunity. He got the first goal for Virginia that helps the comeback. Then their third, and now a chance for the leading one. The go-ahead goal for the returning Jack McCaffrey. Yes. Oh, Jack, how we've missed thee. 7-3-45 to 6-3-39. Virginia in front. A raise in a 25-point deficit. A dual 25-point deficit midway through the first quarter to enjoy a 6-point lead right now here in our Adelaide Plains Football League match of the day in round 12 on Filming Footy. All thanks to Dartfish, Archie's, UTF Trailers, Demand & Co. and Macron. Virginia FC sponsors Bendigo Bank, Sneakies, Collins Transport, Wide Electrical and Pool Envy. Playing like they are very envious at the moment are the Rams, but the Bombers could well respond immediately. Angus Judd does well to get it out of the middle and steers it into Redden. And he's wasting no time to go back and have the shot for his second. He's got 1 goal, 1 so far today, Angus Redden. Directly in front will take all of 50 and a little bit extra. Gives it everything he's got. Got it! Sensational goal from Austin Redden. Thumped it, kept it flat, and just entrusted that it had enough longitude to carry, and it did. And taking a look at the trees in the background there on Old Wakefield Road, they are standing still, so no aid of a breeze whatsoever. That was just pure leg power from Austin Redden. He's got a couple, and we are back to square one again. I did say give me more towards the end of the first quarter. I got my wish in this second term. Away come Hamley Bridge there through Zaberski. Inside 50. Leading to it there, Warren loses his footing, but he ensured that Colhagen was pushed out of the way of the footy, which allowed Virginia to maintain possession. Well done. Great defensive work as he now tries to follow up here on centre wing on the old Port Wakefield Road side, but beaten to it in the end. I think that was Matty Taylor that time. Boundary throw in. Schillinger again. This time against King as the way the match started. Infringement against Sean King that time. Advantage paid to the Bombers. You'll want to question that for an eternity, you would think. Still bamboozled by it anyway. Maybe they can just get out of danger here, Virginia, although the handball from Leulius was a little bit hospital back into his teammate who was tackled by Colhagen. But no damage done as Ponton, the man who was tackled with the footy, gets up and gives it back to the umpire just at the tippy top of the Hamley Bridge square. Looks like Virginia will be able to steer away from this one. Matthews on the bounce, grabs that, but then kicks it straight to Tom Judd, who then switches play immediately. One bounce, Matty Taylor steadies, and then pumps this one off the step. Leaping up there, Zabeski. All he got was air, though. Umpire said it was realistic enough. Play on is the call. So Matthews off hands has a second crack at it. That one there in towards McCafferty. It sort of took a left turn right into his legs just before he could get his arms down to it. And he keeps on scrapping here, does big Jack McCafferty, who has 3 to his name so far and does nicely. So McCafferty, not too dissimilar to what we've seen Zach Fairley do, who's got 3 the other way for Hamley Bridge, moving up the ground to then try and open up the forward line behind him. Off hands here, well done by Warren. Handball to Matthews. Matthews up into the middle. Is it third time lucky to find a teammate? Well, at least it remained in Virginia hands. Cooper Taylor does well. Roving off the hands and now releases Drainer. Stephen Drainer. There is that open forward line we were talking about. 2-on-1 though, favouring Hamley Bridge. It's Wellington the one though for the Rams. It's a good one to have too. Quality over quantity it may well be. And what's the umpire decided here? He's called it back, and I think it's going to be going back to the skipper for the home side. Tackle might have lingered a bit too long after he disposed of it, as Bayliss mans the mark. So we take a look back at the replay. No, it was over the shoulder. Oh, yep. And then it was an extra contact against Tyler Simons in the end. So the tackle got a little bit too high, and then it lingered on with some extra aggression over the shoulder. So the free kick definitely there as Wellington bends it back. A big bender. And puts his side back in front. Loved it as soon as he made contact. Virginia get an 8-3-51. Hamley Bridge 7-3-45. And no mistaking the captain that time. So he joins Sharp and Hood with 2. McCafferty with 3. And a 4-2 second term for Virginia. Looking to keep their season 2026 alive in the finals race. As they come forward once again, free kick. McCafferty involved with that one. I think he was the one doing the infringing though, so Angus Hudson will take the footy back. 30 from goal. That is horrible off the boot. Judd did not expect it, Tom. And to be fair, though, Drainer didn't either. But he's still got a blind fist into it as it comes back up high into the Virginia direction. Wellington again, reaching up. Oh, Brett Burgess. Fresh off steering the Central Zone girls team last week in the South Australian Country Championships to third place. Returning back to Adelaide Plains duties. Have to be trying his best to hold back Expledes after that passage of play. As Wellington now for 2 minutes. Hugging the left-hand goal post. Not enough. Stays to the left for one behind. A let-off for Hamley Bridge. Oh, that is absolutely criminal with those short kicks when the pressure's still on coming out of defence, when you're still hemmed up in your defensive 50. You've got to hit those or otherwise go long. The old saying, if you're going to make a mistake, make it a long one. As Virginia again rip it away from the presenting of Fairley up the middle. They were able to read that script that time. Mark taken here, Drainer inside 50 it goes. Once again, Wellington presenting, causing huge headaches with his move forward in this quarter. But this time, though, the Bombers able to withstand it. Bayliss with the release out of 50, but it's going to come back once again. That could be the big fella there. Is that Kapara? I reckon it's going to go nice and long. And it's taken inside the goal square by McCafferty. Man, oh man. This is getting ominous now. Even though the score is still only 1 goal difference, it'll be 2. As McCafferty lines up for goal number 4. Picture perfect stuff once again by the Rams, and he drains and drills. Drains the morale out of the Hamley Bridge defence and drills the goal to put them 2 goals up. Remembering again, they were 25 points down midway through the first term. 9-4-58 to 7-3-45 since the second occasion that Hamley Bridge were 25 ahead. It's been 9 goals 3 to 3 goals 1. We've said how much the home side has missed McCafferty back in the lineup today. First game since round 7, the last time they played Hamley Bridge. He now has 23 goals for the season. Kicked 5 against Balaclava the round before that for his 1 best player nomination for the season. As the Virginia return to their forward 50. This time it's been seen out by Bayliss on the tackle. A few wry smiles around, which is always good to see. Good spirits shown. Great sportsmanship all around. There's now Drainer doing the ruck work for the Rams. Tries to grab it at ground level. Ends up being put to ground. And happy to just ride that tackle. As the umpire, I think, will call this back. So 9-4-58 to 7-3-45. A 13-point lead to the home side. 38-point turnaround from the biggest deficit. What can Hamley Bridge do in response here? They fight it out of defence this time, but it's to a 2-on-1 up to centre wing, and Big King stands in the way. So what can Sean King do here? Back from whence it came. Unfortunately, on the half volley, Rundle couldn't trap it. Left it behind for Planega, who gets almost headlocked that time. He'll take the free kick. Too far out to score. Ooh, dubious handball, but it might come off, though, to Matthews. And well done by Planega to put half a shepherd on, and it has come off. I reckon Drainer's the man who emerges from the pack and takes the mark on the lead. Bold footy, but beautiful footy from the home side. And we haven't needed to see a lot of the coach yet, Sonny Gregan. I'm sure he's got a smile as wide as the Great Australian Bite. Seeing what he's seen at the present time is now Drainer. Looks to send this one home. Unfortunately, to the wrong address. One behind only. Margin now to 14 points, 9-5-59 to 7-3-45. Hamley Bridge at a standstill as reaching up there, almost pulling it out of beauty is Redden. Couldn't do so, and there's the siren. Might be a mercy siren for Brett Burgess and his Chargers to reset themselves. As we go to the main change, what a quarter for Virginia. Hamley Bridge made most of the first quarter their own, but then Virginia swung the pendulum with conviction back the other way to bring the margin back to 7 in arrears at quarter time when it was 25 midway through. And now they enjoy a 14-point lead at the main break. 5 goals, 4 in that quarter for the Rams. The Bombers, 2 goals, 1. Goal kickers, McCafferty has 4. Sharp and Hood have 2 each. Wellington has the 1. Nearly 2 in a minute for the captain. For Virginia, Hamley Bridge, it's Fairley with 3. Redden 2. Taylor and Kane with 1 each. We'll take a break. Enjoy the opportunity to gather the breath and wet the whistle, because I'll need every single ounce of my voice to hold up for what promises to be an enthralling second half. I'm sure Hamley Bridge will fight back, but Virginia, boy, are they playing a level of football that also deserves to extend beyond the home and away season. We'll take a break here on Filming Footy with Louis Bulzomi on the call. Dino Proctor behind the camera, and also the legend Alejandro Piantadosi in the production booth on the tech side. See you soon.
Our name is derived from the Greek prefix, macro, large. From the day we were born, this has been a promise for the future. We have grown through dedication, sweat, self-denial, faithful to our mission of being on the side of those who put themselves on the line. Through our name, we celebrate the greatness of those who believe there are no obstacles higher than their dreams. The courage to get back up after falling. The obstinacy of believing until the end. These are the values embedded in our logo. The Macron Hero. It's a celebration of sacrifice and tenacity. Up until your personal victory. Until your arms are in the sky. Become your own hero.
All right, let's see how much more breath I've got left to hang on to this thrilling contest here at Sneaky's Oval in Virginia, slightly northwest of the Adelaide CBD, along the road to Two Wells, a team that has dominated this competition in recent years, although their quest for a fifth consecutive flag stopped by Malala last season. Louis Bulzomi here for Filming Footy, all thanks to Dartfish, Archie's, UTF Trailers, Deman & Co. and Macron. I'll tell you what, the Archie's footwear and the beanie, we're going to struggle today because I've got quite a number of players. I mean, McCafferty, 4 goals in his return since for his first game since round 7. He is certainly putting his hand up. I've loved the little nuggety work of Michael Hood up forward as well for Virginia. Cooper Taylor's been presenting everywhere so far. And then when absolutely necessary, Stephen Wellington has stepped up also, the captain of the Rams. While on the other side for Hamley Bridge, as far as the Archies are concerned, some contenders there. Angus Judd definitely early on. May have been a bit quieter in that second term, but expect a good fight back from the Bombers skipper in the second half. Darcy Thompson he's scrapped quite well so far. Love the presenting work of Zach Fairley for the 3 goals and also doing some excellent work up the ground. Big Shahinga in the ruck has given them a lot of first purchase, even though they probably haven't got enough bang for their buck from their centre clearances, especially after the first 14 minutes when they were completely faultless, the Bombers, during that particular part of the game. Hasn't been as good since then, unfortunately, for them. But, yeah, there's still quite a number of great contenders for the prized Archie's goodies at the end of the contest. So, Dino, it's going to be pretty tough to pick out somebody, but we'll see whether there will be a game breaker, a distinct game breaker in this second half to hand the wonderful merchandise to once this is all said and done. And speaking of wonderful, of course, last week, sensational results in the South Australian Country Footy Championships for our Central Zone representatives, the men and women. Of course, the men took out the title, the women finishing third. And the women, of course, made up predominantly of the Barossa Light and Gawler Football Association side, but coached by the Hamley Bridge coach in Brett Burgess, certainly doing our region proud here. And, of course, the men doing the number on Northern in the final, hanging on by a point in that thrilling last term to take the title. So it was a very thrilling and dramatic conclusion held in the heart of the Southern Barossa at the new facility at Lindock, with Sean Gibson leading the charge there, coaching fraternity in wet, wild and windy conditions. First time that Central Zone in the men's competition have won the South Australian Country Championships since pre-COVID, since 2019. 4th time overall for them. And it was fantastic to see 4 players from the Adelaide Plains making their way into the squad. 2 of those on show in this contest right now. The captain for the Bombers in Angus Judd and the man they call Kappa, Daniel Kapara for Virginia, as we get set to get the players back into position. Got a good look at the Virginia side there. All fists in the middle. Unanimous shout out. Ready to take charge once again. Umpires have been fantastic as well. Certainly a breath of fresh air from what we're dealing with at the highest level of this sport of ours. That's why it's always wonderful to come back to grassroots footy and just remember the reason why we love this great game called Australian rules. So, Virginia ready to take their positions. Of course, enjoying a 14-point lead at the present time. And their major sponsors, Bendigo Bank, Sneakies, Collins Transport, Wide Electrical and Pool Envy, also loving what has been displayed so far, especially since the 14-minute mark of the first quarter. Well, for Hamley Bridge, hopefully for their sake, the halftime siren has come in the nick of time to give them the second win that they need to get the momentum back on their terms. 25 points they were to the good midway through the first quarter. 14 points to the bad right now. There's the siren. Let's get you started here in the second half on Filming Footy. And starting in the ruck for the Rams this time is Big Kappa. And he guides this one down as Matthews comes in and puts a good tackle on Luke Taylor to bring him to the turf. And we'll get a ball up. Tap down there from Shahinja. He's on the bulk of the ruck work today for the Hamley Bridge. And then, just got to try and keep your feet. Just falling over. Unfortunately, no balance there in Virginia's case. But Wellington was able to straighten them back up and get them out to right half forward. It's a fight and a scrap. And the ball stays alive, I think. Yep. Ball up will be called here. Matty Taylor last with the footy. Now Kapara just grabs it out and then just welcomes anyone to come after him. Knew that the boundary line was there all the same. As the umpire now tells him to give it back to him. Stayed in the field of play. No, it didn't. There you go. Pleading his case. Not sure what he was asking for there. Whether he thought that maybe, the tackle had lingered on well after he was brought out of bounds. But anyway, he wastes no time to help this one on its way. Rundle with the clearance. But good work by Redden helping out down the back. Straight away, high ball, little too high in the end. Mark got taken by Nick Taylor. The other Taylor, Cooper, the sole Taylor for Virginia, who's had a ripping game. Does the defensive work again. 4 defensive work from him. Nearly wins himself a free, but he's happy to just hold it up. That play right there might just get him in front a little bit in the Archies race. As he gets the clearance on cue. Oh, if he had found a target there, I'll tell you what, he'd be the clubhouse leader, but he couldn't quite. It was cut off by Redden once again as the Bombers escape. And Shahinja takes the mark at left half back over on the old Port Wakefield Road side. Shahinja now takes his 10. Wants Fairley, who was caught second in that contest, but did well to bring it to advantage as Hamley Bridge get it forward. Not as open as they enjoyed it in the first term, but Thompson was there to present. Now the ball is swung around the right. Will it bounce kindly? It certainly does for Parsons, and he makes no mistake. So as they've done in the previous 2 quarters, they draw first blood in this one. And Parsons gets his first of the afternoon, has got it behind as well, and the margin comes back to single figures, 8 points in favour of Virginia. And the corner phrase from the legendary comedy film Night at the Roxbury in the 90s. That's an ambulance coming to take me away. I'll paraphrase this one because this game is up in my heart. Of course, figuratively though, the heart's still literally beating and loving what I'm seeing and calling here as Virginia now look to respond. Ponton releases sharp inside 50. Big King tries to bowl a few over to clear a path for McCafferty. Not 5. First behind off the left boot of Jack. Margin back to 9 points. 9-6-60 to 8-3-51. See what Hamley Bridge can do here. Both sides have had a couple of good coast-to-coast carries. That one there, the first part was right into Henry McCabe. Second part, not so pretty. Missing Redden. And now the opposite 7 in Denny comes in to cut that one off, but no support further up along centre wing on the old Port Wakefield Road side. So Hamley Bridge get another look at this one, but they too fault up at left half forward. So here's a chance for Virginia again, presenting his Woodrow. Handball into Kapara. It's a big capper with a big kick. Taylor nearly. Second chance at it. What a recovery. No one on the goal line. That's goal of the day. And he now surges ahead in the Archie's foot race. And the beanie and the thongs would look good on Cooper Taylor. What a set of wheels he has. And look at the celebrations too. He's proud of what he's done there, and why shouldn't he be? A goal for his efforts. I mentioned in the second term when Michael Hood kicked the first of his 2 that for all the great work he has done to help create opportunities for others up forward, that he deserved one off his own boot. Likewise here for Taylor coming off the wing. And for mine, he is the best on-ground leader. Might be different in certain other eyes, but I'd be happy to challenge that theory because I've loved the work rate, I've loved the tenacity, and I've loved the follow-up involvements in play throughout from Cooper Taylor. As we see this one go back forward here for Hamley Bridge, and a mark is taken inside 50. I think that's Matty Taylor who's got it, either he or Zach McCabe. Did see the 3 on the back. I'll double check if it's 2 or a 3 as the secondary number. Anyway, the shot will be taken from just inside the 50 arc. It's a good kick. It's a raking kick. It's got there. It has. Not. Unlike Kelly Underwood, I just hung on to that, didn't finish the sentence. Offhands one behind with a centimetre to spare. But what a kick, though. I think it was Zach McCabe in the end who had that shot. Just had a quick check at the replay there. It was. Of course, the McCabe family with a rich dynasty here at Hamley Bridge. And of course, Luke and Will, representatives of Hawthorn. Will, of course, currently there, made his debut this season as Cooper Taylor. Looking to be dangerous again. Short ball to McCafferty, who just feeds it out here to Denny. Oh, my goodness. If that's through, then I will hang it up. Because I see it and I don't believe it. I don't think it is. I think that one there did fade to the right, and it has. My goodness, we've seen some perler shots. Whether it's from downtown or up against the boundary, Adelaide Plains represent. This is high-quality football of any level. And Big King proves my case even further with that contested mark. Off the boot of Henry McCabe from the goal square. Oh, shut up and take my money indeed. There's a bit of wax lyrical work goes on here. Sharp from Leulius. Sends this one nice and long. Up high. I reckon it was McCabe again. Henry couldn't pull it down though. Or it might have been Colhagen, one of the two. They look pretty similar. Either way, it's not going to be a Hamley Bridge ball. It'll be a ball up. 67 plays, 52. 15-point lead. Biggest lead of the contest for the home side. Biggest for Hamley Bridge, of course. We mentioned it many times in this call. 25 back midway through the first quarter. Can they peg this one back on this play here? Well done by Fairley to trap it. Darcy Thompson also involved in the chain. And they've got the one-on-one they wanted. Parsons takes that one in front. Very difficult matchup when the ball's sitting on his head and the defensive opponent is stationary on him. Using the size to his advantage there. Ash Parsons got a goal in this third term, second half already. That snap from the top of the goal square at the 2.5 minute mark. And now, as we tick over 9 minutes, we'll see whether or not he can peg this margin back into single figures once again. Rinse and repeat. No. One behind only. So 9.5 gone. This third term. Margin back to 14 points. Kapara with the responsibility of kicking in. Gains extra territory on the gallop and then puts a beautiful one into right half back. And now Cooper Taylor again. It sits for him kindly. Can he put through another perler to get the tongues wagging? Yes, he can! He wants those Archies, I'm telling you. But more than just that, he wants the 2 points, the vital 2 points to keep Virginia's finals hopes alive in season 2026. 11-7-73 to 8-5-53. Biggest margin of the game is still that 25 points to Hamley Bridge, but Virginia on the verge of eclipsing that potentially. And it could come in this next play, because they are really on top now in the centre clearances, and Grieg and the coach now wants in on the action. Happy with what he's seen from all of his charges, and now he's decided, I want in too. And he keeps following up. There's a big coach in his first season at the Rams. And it looks like, unfortunately, they've given the free kick away, I think. Yep. To Jaden Denny's disappointment, along with Rundle, who will take the mark here. Left half back for the Bombers. Give that one to Tommy Judd as this one goes over the head of Darcy Thompson. Big King now barging through. And you don't want to be standing in his way when he's full of steam. Inside 50. Kapara now falling forward. Off hands. Sharp. Open goal square. Umpire once again staying put. And they do on that play take the biggest lead of the game. Sharp has 3. Hard to see what Brett Burgess now can do to arrest this. 12-7-79 to 8-5-53. Wow. What more can you say? Hopefully with a performance like this, we can see a few more Virginian faithful rock up to Sneaky's Oval and even go on tour with the team for their away games to wrap up the home and away, because they are still well and truly in the finals hunt. No question about it, if they can continue on the verge here. But let's see what Hamley Bridge can do in response. They need the next one. 51-point turnaround from the 14-minute mark of the first quarter. As we see another ball up. And now inside 50 it goes. Off hands. That was fantastic work. Henry McCabe is a light. We asked for it. We don't get it. Only a behind. Right, 6:54 plays, 12-7-79. Well watched there by Henry McCabe. Unfortunately couldn't finish. It was textbook stuff from the Rove. Picking his moment to take off, but unfortunately though the ball couldn't oblige to direct itself through the middle. The margin now back to 25. Familiar number, but as far as Hamley Bridge are concerned, in unfamiliar territory, in enemy territory. Back into the advantage of the home side, who have not wasted a single second in delivering this football from defence to attack. Once again involved in the chain there, the captain Wellington. And from the resultant ball up, free kick. High tackle, Woodrow will take it. Doesn't like his chances to go the distance here, so gets it towards the edge of the square. This comes in. Bayliss grabs the footy for Hamley Bridge, takes the tackle from Drainer, and we'll get a ball up, and he comes up quite proppy as well as Bayliss. That's not a good sign either. No weight on that right leg. It already has plenty of heavy strapping on that knee. So concerns for him that hopefully it's just a little bit of a jar, or maybe a loss of sort of that tingly feeling where you can just stretch it out and keep going. Not so much cramp, but just that almost numbing feeling when you sit on your leg for too long. I hope it's something worse than that, as the ball now finds its way up along the old Port Wakefield side. True centre wing. So the Bombers escape the danger for the moment. They can't escape the onslaught in total, though. In totality, coming the way of Virginia as they come forward yet again. Sharp presents, and I think he got some high contact down. Yep, the umpire's saying chop the arms. So it'll go back to Matty Sharp. 3 goals won today. Looking to rejoin McCafferty as the leading goal kicker for the Rams. So Sharp this season, he's only missed out on kicking a goal in one game back in round 2 against 2 Wells. Otherwise, he's been good for at least 1 in every other. A couple of times he's kicked 2. Today, it's his best season return with 3 for 13 overall in his 10th game. 5 times best on ground nominee, and he's putting a good case for a 6th time. He's got 4. Sharp stuff from a sharp operator. Name and nature, no question about it. 13,785 to 8,654. New game high margin of 31 points. As we await the umpires to send the ball back in. Mentioned earlier today in the reserves, huge win for Hamley Bridge. Obviously, Virginia right up against it when it comes to their availability in their depth stocks this season. A lot of under-17s being called up, although they do have a really good junior program, though. The Colts premiership in recent years. As we get a restart, take 2 here. Can Hamley Bridge do on this play? They get it towards Thompson, but he's in a dogfight right now, having to deal with Marquez Graham. And also Aiden Ponton. As mentioned, Virginia, the junior Colts winning the flag last season. So we know that their young guns of the future are quite solid. It's just that reserve grade, unfortunately, it hasn't seen a win in a couple of years, but at least the seniors are in for the fight. And unfortunately, Taylor, don't make me take those Archies off you, mate. I've still got you as the leader, but a 50-metre penalty against him. As he now, well, 25, I should say. A little overzealous, confusing codes there. There's a shot on goal to be taken here by Angus Judd, who we haven't seen much of since the early part of the first quarter. Can the skipper step up here? No. Push it to the right for 1 behind. So I'll let you off the hook there, Cooper. I'll let you off the hook. You're still my favourite at this stage for the Archies. 18 gone in this 3rd term. Margin back to an even 5 goals in favour of the home side. 13,785 to 8,654. As the ball comes out to left half back for the Rams, it'll be a ball up. The 2 big men who started it all, King and Shahinja. King got the tap down, but it was defensive. So here's an opportunity here for Luke Taylor, who puts the don't argue onto Cooper Taylor, and it works out, even though Thompson is penalised for a hold before the ball got there. He took the mark, but he had a hold of Graham illegally, said the umpire, much to his absolute disgust. But hopefully for his sake, it won't hurt the other way because they've got the ball back here. Parsons takes it. Helped from Fairley. He gets another crack at it. Thompson. It goes right through his hands. Oh, if it rains, it pours. Unfortunately, on an individual level for him. And he's had a solid game so far. I've loved a lot of his defensive tackling work up forward, but yeah, it's a minute he would certainly want back. As Virginia come out through left half back. Cooper Taylor's there again. Does well not to give the free kick away this time, even though he could have easily gotten to the back of his opponent. There's Thompson once more, and that's what I love to see. When things aren't going right for you in the heat of the moment, just keep on keeping on. And he did just that. Didn't throw in the towel. Didn't spit the dummy. He went back after the footy and helped cause a ball up. Well done, son. As Cole Hagan now does likewise here. Grabs it. Takes the tackle. And we get another ball up as we venture into the 20th minute of this 3rd quarter. Margin at 30 in favour of Virginia. Helped on its way here by Shahinga by foot, but well read by Graham for the Rams. And a bit of space here if the ball can sit here for Matthews. It doesn't quite. Took a little too long to wait for it to pop back up, and the ball stayed flat. But he's okay, though. He doesn't concede a free kick. Umpire lets him off with no prior. So ball up left half forward for the Bombers. Redden taking the ruck. Likewise, Kapara, who has the footy. and draws plenty towards him. He invited a fair few of them earlier in the game to say, come on at me, boys. This time they did, and they got the free kick out of him. Luke Taylor now. Waste no time towards the square, off hands. Thompson, no. Out of bounds, and a big appeal for in danger from Ponton. Not coming his way. So a live chance here for Hamley Bridge to pull one back. They've got one goal in this quarter, but they have considered 4 the other way. And they won't get a second on that occasion as it comes out, and the ball is so kind on the bounce this time into the hands of Hanks. The ball not so kind with the follow-up kick for Virginia. It works out just for Angus Hudson in defence for the Bombers inside the centre square. Appealing for the shove-out was Graham on that play against Redden. Umpire said it was all fair in love and war in that contest. Ball up inside 50 for Hamley Bridge. Restart here. Redden was near amongst that one, but it comes out here towards Luke Taylor, the vice-captain who has won today. Comes up and misses again. Well, they're peppering. They're peppering now. Hamley Bridge, that's their 5th behind of the quarter. Margin back under 5 goals. With every miss, you just fear, for Hamley Bridge's sake, that Virginia will find a way to get one the other way and really break their spirits. Let's see whether that can be affected. Ball comes out of left half back. Up over the wing. Wellington lets it fly over his head, tries to get onto it, but beaten to it on that occasion. As Hamley Bridge regain possession, and they're off here through the opposite skipper in Angus Judd. Steering ball into space, out the back. Parsons, has he got a read on this one? He does, but Leolius right onto him. Not mucking around at all. Ball up. .30 out from Hamley Bridge's goal into the playground end, which did see the bulk of the scoring in the first half. Not in this quarter, though. The winery end enjoying more of that. But a free kick will be coming out here. Not to Hamley Bridge, though, against Ethan Kane for too high. Planega is the one. As the ball comes out now to right half back. McCabe, Henry does well to beat Drainer to the punch that time, and Drainer took an eternity to get back up off the ground after he showcased all of his disappointment in missing out on that one. But it's okay, though, because Graham's here, took a bounce, drew every single opponent within his vicinity towards the boundary line. None of them could keep him pinned, though, so he gets out of it and gets away with it. Cooper Taylor now puts a tackle on Luke Taylor. Still in possession here for the Bombers. Zaberski, one way then the other. Short pass is okay. Here to Parsons. Steering ball to the square. It carries. This time with a breath of relief. A breath of about time in this term. Darcy Thompson has a mark that won't be taken off him. Now it's just a matter of making sure that he doesn't fluff up the kick to get Hamley Bridge's 9th and keep their fledgling hopes of taking the 2 points alive heading into the final quarter. He makes no mistake. Rebalances himself. And he's back in the black. Darcy Thompson. Of course, wearing the red sash, proud for the Bombers as well. 9-8-62 to 13-7-85. 25 gone in this third term here on Filming Footy. Adelaide Plains match of the round, round 12, with Louis Balzomi on the call. All thanks to Dartfish, Archie's, UTF Trailers, Demand & Co. and Macron. We also thank Virginia Football Club sponsors, Bendigo Bank, Sneakies, Collins Transport, Wired Electrical and Pool Envy. Thompson proving that persistence does eventually pay off. Will he be involved in this play again as it comes forward? It's Redden this time that presents, or it may well have been Delena, in actual fact, the 36. Off hands, it comes out here to Luke Taylor. Starting to get busy, the vice-captain once again. And he finds a target. 2 in a minute. In the shadows of three-quarter time to really make this game interesting again. And it's Ethan Kane who did kick one in red time in the first quarter. On cue again. For his second. It's on its way. It's held its line. So often in this quarter, they just couldn't buy a goal, the Bombers. Finally, a couple go straight. Darcy Thompson from point blank range. Ethan Kane from downtown. $13,785 to 10,868. Margin back to 17. Now it's Virginia's turn to find the answers. Brett Burgess certainly has discovered those. And full credit to his charges out there. Honestly thought that maybe the morale was too down, but no, it's swung back. And this game certainly deserves a close finish anyway. Virginia now with an opportunity to respond. Denny through the middle. Doesn't find a target. And Hamley Bridge able to protect the footy here. Mark taken by Zaberski. Draws Cooper Taylor to try and smother it. Escapes him. But Cooper Taylor did enough, though, to put an effect on the kick to make it a 50-50 to Denny. But unfortunately, though, he's blind handball, too blind. Taken by Taylor. Siren, I think, has beaten him. And Ken Thompson, just as he latches onto the footy, could have been away then. That's okay, because he was able to exercise those mid-quarter demons with a clutch goal that has helped reopen this contest after Kane, once again, speaking of clutch, he did it in the first quarter, bobs up again here in the third, and we still have quite the ball game here at Sneaky's Oval. 13-7-85 to 10-8-68. It's Virginia in front, but not by as much as they were barely 10 minutes ago. The margin had got out to 31 at the 16-minute mark of the quarter. But Hamley Bridge have found another gear left in their gearbox to hopefully bring this game down to the wire. Do not go anywhere. Come on back with us here on Filming Footy in this final quarter with Louisville's Amy on the call, Dino Proctor doing wonderful camera work, and also, of course, the legend in the tech box, Alejandro Piantadozzi, doing God's work all around. Thank you, fellas. We'll come back soon. Final quarter. Just under 30 minutes to determine who continues to keep the top four honest in season 2026 of the Adelaide Plains Football League. Back here on Filming Footy with Louis Balzami. Will it be Virginia, who need the extra 2 points to get back on level pegging and possibly overtake Hamley Bridge on percentage as well? They get the first inside 50 of the final quarter. And it's hot in the furnace here. Zaberski rides the tackle for the Bombers. Comes out here towards Angus Judd. Hassled out of it illegally, said the umpire. And it was Taylor again. It's all right. Still got you for the Archies at the present time, Cooper. Unless Hamley Bridge get a goal out of this play. Well, they won't, so he's still safe. Turn over here. Back into the big fella there in Kapara, the dancing shoes. So two central zone representatives there combining either side. And speaking of combining, Virginia do well in that passage of play on the turnover. Repeat entry and taking the mark at the top of the square. None other than Jack McCafferty, who will go back for his fifth. First nail in the coffin coming up. Won't say the final nail yet. Still a lot of footy to be played, as we know. 2 death goals in that third quarter for Hamley Bridge to keep the game alive, but McCafferty steers it home to just close the door a little bit. 14-7-91 plays 10-8-68. Margin back out to 23. As we go back in time and see when the last time these two sides both enjoyed premiership success in the ones. Hamley Bridge back in 2014 for their 9th overall. 2 separate stints in this league from 1936 to 63 and then rejoining in 1984. While Virginia, their last success came in 2015 for premiership number 4. And they've had 3 separate stints. Of course, the first 2 separated pretty much by World War I. Joining the competition in the second year of existence. Of course, the competition celebrating their centenary back in 2008. And a good article feature on the AFL website too that I was able to dig up in the archives pre-game. As we see here, return to action. And a big kick and a great present. The kick from Redden. The mark from Fairley, which we saw a fair bit of in the first quarter. Not as much since. Fortunately, though, Fairley rushing the play-on kick out of bounds last disposal. Not finding the big man Parsons on that particular occasion. So Matthews wastes no time as he was going to come back, is it? No. Play has gone on. And Virginia continued to protect the ball nicely on their last line of defence until then. Commentators curse for a different kind. Not a scoring one. Just a general play one. And Fairley says, thanks for the gift. This time I will go back and have a shot. Kicked 2 goals in the first quarter. Got the first goal of the second term. Got the first 2 goals of the game, for that matter. Hasn't seen a lot of it since, even though he still has presented well up the ground. This time, though, staying nestled at home inside 50. Not a bad effort. And, well, you hear the horns of the cars around Sneaky's Oval from the Bombers faithful. It's more than not a bad effort. It's a great effort. It's a goal. And so he raises the McCafferty one at the 4-minute mark of this final quarter. 14-7-91 to 11-8-74. We're back to a 17-point ball game as we were at 3-quarter time. Of course, coming into this round, 2 Wells with a 3-game advantage on top of the ladder ahead of Balaclava, as well as the Hummocks Watchman Eagles, who share the points with Anglevale and Hamley Bridge. Just under 8% separating the Hammock Watchman and Hamley Bridge. Hummocks Watchman, I should say. Virginia 2 points further adrift. hoping they can rejoin the chasing pack for the final spot or two in the top four. As they regain possession here at right half back. Scrappy kick, but it doesn't matter as long as it gains territory. Handball into Wellington now. What can the captain do? Can he find a target? Oh, yeah. Drainer initially, but put the screen on and a good shepherd to make sure that Rundle could take it uncontested. And his kick, though, unfortunately missing Wood, needed another foot on him. And the mark is taken by Tom Judd. So Judd now will switch play over to the Old Port Wakefield Road side. Finds the big fella in Shehinga, who handballs it to Zabeski. Zabeski to the feet of Fairley. Oh, just got to lift it up a little bit more to him, but it's okay, though, because they're not made to pay for that one, the Bombers. They get it back through Shehinga on the turnover. And now Matt Taylor steers it into Redden at right half forward. Too far out to score, you'd think. He knows that, and he puts it into Delena's hands, taking it to the highest point. That is a vice-like grip from Jackson Delena, and I hope he's not too hurt coming down on the landing. Probably just winded, I think. Get the breath back in his lungs and go back and take the shot. It's always hearts and mouths stuff when you see a player leap up in the manner that Jackson Delena did, even if it's not a specky style, still an excellent maximum height reach for the mark, and then just grimace as they slowly get back up, potentially holding a body part, but no, he's okay. All limbs are intact, breath back intact. What can he do here to keep the Bombers in this contest? He pushes it, and it's through for a behind. So just under 7 minutes of game time elapsed in this final quarter. Margin back to 16 points in favour of the home sides. Will the Bombers get another look in here potentially? No. The Rams do well enough through defence to hold play here. And once again, it's the captain getting back there to lead the charge, Wellington. But he misses Cooper Taylor, though, with the high up and under. Mark taken by Nick Taylor. So again, just confusing the families. Nick Taylor inside 50. Brought down on that occasion was Delena. Shoved underneath the footy. Goes back at it again. Plenty of players around this one. Delena now on all fours. Helps lock this one away in tandem with Redden, who's got a couple to his name. 6 separate goal kickers for the Bombers. 5 separate goal kickers for the Rams. Leading the charge on both sides, McCafferty with 5. As the Rams now clear away from defence. Oh, beautiful read of the flight there from Hood, and he had an opponent breathing down beside him as well. Inside 50! He heard his name. I swear he heard his name somehow, telepathically, when I mentioned that he was leading all comers on the goal sheet. And he wants to ensure he stays there, does Jack McCafferty, as he goes back for his 6th. And with 8 minutes gone in this final quarter, it'll be another nail in the coffin. Again, I'll refrain from saying it's the final one. There still seems like there's plenty of fight left in the Bombers. But the Rams certainly will look the more favoured should this one go through for full points off the boot of a returning Jack McCafferty. Sorely missed throughout the month of June. Would have been Christmas in July if he had been able to put that one through the middle. Not quite. One behind. $14,892 to $11,975. So still 3 goals on the run will put the Bombers back in front. Big attempt at a mark there from Cole Hagan. Looked impressive but couldn't complete it. Virginia back in possession. Steering pass towards left half forward. Set a task there for Hood. He couldn't take it that time. Ball still alive here though for the home side. Sharp. Parts the seas, does well, steadies, drills it. McCafferty again, got a right mid to it, and he has a player in space, decides to ignore him, then thinks about giving it to him, and then goes himself anyway. And Drainer says, thank God you put it through, because he would have let him know all about it if he hadn't have. So he gets his 6th, and now, maybe, Virginia can celebrate Christmas in July with a firm grip on the 2 vital premiership points. There's a tick under 10 minutes gone in this final quarter. Margin back out to 23. McCafferty with half a dozen of the best. 15.898 to 11.975. And now he makes things interesting as far as the archers are concerned. Still got Cooper Taylor maybe just slightly ahead, although McCafferty is charging down now. Hard to ignore. 6 vital goals. And the way he's been marking them and also wreaking havoc for the Bombers' defence has been something to behold, as well as now Sharp releases Denny. This time he won't find the big fella. Caught behind. And Judd gets into the space in front of him and takes the mark. And away come the Bombers. Only for the moment, though. Colhagen's sweeping handball into Kane. Caught immediately. And we'll get a ball up. Good tackle from Matthews that time. There's a shove out there from Shahinga. Umpire said it was fair. Play on. Virginia, though, get the clearance to open space. Only man there, though, Zach McCabe. Handball into Henry McCabe. So the family combining there, although that kick, though, smothered off Zach's boot emphatically. Where is Big McCaff? He's got 3 to beat this time. Can't beat them all. Hamley Bridge will clear away for the moment. Out towards left half back. Spinning ball, dreidling ball. Delena took the high contact. Should get the free. And does. Then goes to centre half back. Mark taken by Henry McCabe. Switches play now to the Old Port Wakefield Road side. To try and open things up. And McCabe does well to run through the middle and present again. But it needed to get it to him on the full, though, because waiting there for him was Ponton. Like a steward at a train station, just waiting for the passenger to come off and greeting him. And able to affect the turnover. As now Big Kappa. Kapara has the mark into Little Hood. The little engine that could, as we dubbed him earlier on in the game. 2 vital second quarter goals that helped close the gap back to a point after he kicked his second one. And they've continued on their merry way since, for the most part. Woodrow now. Short pass. Cooper Taylor has it at right half forward. Appealing for an advancement penalty. Not getting it. Ball spilled out of his hands in the midst of the mark. So umpire says go back over it. So he sets this one up high off hands. Tom Judd nearly. Help there, though, from the ruck in Shahinga. And away come the Bombers once again. Only with one kick, though. Leolius takes the mark. And he's been more than handy as well today. Doesn't necessarily get too many of his praises sung from the average Joe and Jill, but just gets his job done without much fuss. And speaking of getting the job done, Trainer with a beautiful contested mark. Handball now to the skipper, who loads up from 50. Wellington! It's over. I think it is. Two goals now to Stephen Wellington. And Virginia well on their way now to a 2-point addition to their season tally. A 6th victory on the cards now after that drilling goal from Stephen Wellington. A captain's goal that comes clutch. 16-8-104 to 11-9-75. Margin out to 29 points. So that may very well be the final now. We've mentioned many nails being drilled into the coffin. That could well be it. Maybe just one more hammering down on that final nail from this play here as once again Wellington accepts the mark. And then further acceptance taken by Kappa. He doesn't want to miss out on a goal. It was Daniel Kapara. An absolute star in that Central Zone final against Northern. Last Saturday night in the driving rain. And now in beautiful sunshine here at Sneaky's Oval. Daniel Kapara, a favourite son here, will look to add further icing on the cake. How is that for a textbook shot? Bottle that one up and show the kids. Dino Proctor with an excellent angle on that one through the filming footy camera. Virginia now go to 17-8, 110. Hamley Bridge, 11-9, 75. And if I'm not mistaken, it's now the new highest margin of the game at 35 points. So the mini fight back by the Bombers late in the third term, snuffed out completely now, you'd think. As we get the restart off hands here, Hood steers this one into centre half forward. It creeps out the back of the centre square now. And still Virginia surge forward with emphatic pressure. And they're all queuing up now. I think Sharp's the man that has the footy this time. And still keeping McCafferty honest, though. He's going back for number 5. So as we mentioned, Sharp has kicked no more than 2 goals in any game this season. Last time he's kicked more than 2 before today was against Port District when he was playing for Salisbury North in the Adelaide Footy League last year. So one of the boom recruits that Sonny Gregan has been able to bring over with him. Misses that one to the right, but shouldn't matter. Matters not in the context of this one as we get set for red time in this final quarter. 16.5 gone. 17-9, 111 to 11-9, 75. Big kick out to centre wing here on the community centre side. Cooper Taylor again doing great work in the coal face to help with that turnover, but they don't find a target up forward this time, Virginia. As Hamley Bridge now come to left half back. Matty Taylor with the mark. Short ball's okay. Time, certainly the enemy to try and get 6 goals without response. Henry McCabe, he's done everything he could possibly do in this last quarter to help re-engineer something. This time, though, unlike the last effort, which come unstuck for him, it has worked towards right half forward. Nick Taylor helping it on its way, 1% style. Now in towards Fairley. Caught, dragged off the kick, but able to separate himself from his opponent to follow up and get another one, this time with some good air, and he finds a target in the goal square. Well done. Partner in crime in Redden, who'll go back quickly. He knows time is of the essence. He kicks his third. Just shy of the 18-minute mark of this final quarter. They swung the head of the hammer around to pull one nail out. Well, soon find out. 17-9, 111 to 12-9, 81. Margin back to an even 5 goals. First quarter went a tick under 29 minutes. The second term just under 28. The third also under 28. And the final quarter looks like it might travel a similar distance in terms of time. And of course, that's just elapsed time, not so much game time. You've got to factor in stoppages and the like. Anyway, Henry McCabe now thrust into the middle. So the magnets have been swung around by Brett Burgess with a last Hail Mary attempt here. And why not? You may as well go for broke. May as well lose by 100 to try and win by 1. As the kick comes forward to centre half forward. The mark is taken by Ponton. Another one of those unsung heroes who just gets the job done in defence without too much fuss. Off to Sharp. Away come Virginia now through the old Port Wakefield Road sides. Presenting well there. Big capper. Who was held and maybe held for a bit too long as the umpire might be bringing him forward a little bit, will he? No advantage paid. And he has been brought forward a little bit. Sticking when it's the old 15-metre penalties here. Of course, don't forget, it's my first time calling the Adelaide Plains Footy League, getting a good look at it. Usually accustomed to the 50-metre version of it. I know some leagues apply 25. Sandford does, from best of memory. Correct me if I'm wrong, of course. But feel free to give me the advice on that too. As Kapara, didn't matter how many metres he gained, he was always going to make the distance. And he gets his second of this final quarter, second of the match overall. Back out to a 6-goal margin. And that nail firmly shut again in the coffin. High fives all around for the Virginia Rams. And the sweet smell of success. I'm sure they've heard this many a time, just like a well-roasted Virginia ham. 18-9, 117 to 12-9, 81. You knew it was coming. As now, Hamley Bridge continue to fight the good fight, though. Henry McCabe again. Very good last quarter since being brought back up the ground into Matty Taylor. And now the kick steers in. McCabe follows up once again. Just the heart of the young man is superb to try and give them some sort of life. But all to no avail on that play as it comes back out. Angus Judd beaten to it by Rundle. Now he ragdolls him down. Play goes on. Diving for it here, Woodrow. Fights well to lock the ball away for a ball up. Near left half forward for Hamley Bridge. 21 and a half gone. Just about in this final term. So you'd say, dare I say it, 6-7 minutes to go of a full elapsed time, inclusive of stoppage time. As now McCabe once more fights hard. What a last quarter he certainly has had. Zaberski now combines with Henry McCabe once again. Another shrug of a tackle. Does well. Steers a pass in a little too low again to Fairley. We've seen that happen too often throughout the contest. Not so much in the early stages when the Bombers were flying. And another missed opportunity goes begging for the Bombers there. Ball up, 35 from their goal. Tap down is okay. Here to Colhagen. Had a little bit of space, but was closed suddenly. Baxter, the man there, putting the tackle on for Virginia. Again, another unsung defensive hero. King now towards Baxter. Quick handball out to Sharp. Oh, that was a whiplash-like handball. Fantastic stuff. In towards Kapara. Off his shins. Handball, ill-directed. Luke Taylor grabs it for the Bombers. They've got an opportunity now to load up. Big kick. Good kick, I think. And it's a goal. So one in red time, which they've done quite well in this game for the most part, apart from the second term, Hamley Bridge. But unfortunately, they've probably heard this pun a few times too when they've been on the receiving end of a loss, a bridge too far. $13,987 to $18,9,117. Handful of minutes left in this one. But it's been an enjoyable contest all the same. As the Rams keep their season alive and join Hamley Bridge on 12 points. So we wait the results of the other games to see how the ladder shapes at the conclusion of round 12 as the Bombers get themselves inside 50 yet again. But held up by the Rams skipper in Wellington, who's also had a stellar game. 2 vital goals and plenty of individual and teamwork as well by his own physical presence and also by his voice. Absolute gun of a talent is he as they scrap hard yet again for yet another ball up. So this one taken away from right half back for the Rams. Rundle takes the mark. Doesn't worry about soaking up the clock. Just wants to keep a good thing going. A little too ambitious. Matthews tried, but good cut off there by Tom Judd. And once again, Henry McCabe easily in double-figure possessions in this last term, but then you put him on a pedestal and he let you down a little bit. But then, luckily though, a little accidentally on purpose, kick off the ground into Kane, and he finds a target further afield. And Zach McCabe, who will have the shot. So from down, long range, just inside the 50 now. Get some good air on that one. Pretty okay, but offside for just the one behind. $13.10.88 to $18.9 117. Once again, Cooper Taylor presents to accept the kick out. And I think he's done enough now to win those Archies for mine. Again, tough to separate them. Because you've got one player kicking 6 goals, another kicking 4. But you've got to show some love to the men up the ground who help feed them those opportunities. As offhands here, once again, Virginia stifling a Hamley Bridge scoring attempt. The umpire blows the whistle and allows play to go on into Virginia's possession. Advantage inside 50. It's an open forward line. Hood finally gets the ball to talk to him. Handball to Warren. Back now towards Drainer. He might be fully drained at the moment with that attempted to gather. But anyway, Hood, he was able to get another breath in his lungs and have enough time and poise to steer a lateral pass in to another target presenting. And then he gets it back. So here's an opportunity for Michael Hood to finish it off once and for all. So just quickly look at Stephen Wellington's resume, which of course includes some Sandful time, along with Sturt. Salisbury West as well, Broadview, Eastern Park, and Salisbury North in the Adelaide Footy League also. As Hood's kick doesn't quite make the distance, off hands, 1, 2, 3 attempts eventually rushed over. The margin now back to an even 5 goals the difference as we now hit into the 27th minute. So barely seconds left, you'd think, based on the length of the other quarters. 18-10, 118 to 13-10, 88. Pretty much all academic now. As Virginia, who were 25 points down, as we mentioned, 14-minute mark of the first quarter. Hadn't put a goal on the board at all at that stage of the game. Have come up triumphant by 5 goals in a statement-making result that keeps their 2026 season well and truly alive. The big Ram heart is still beating, and they did put quite the ramming on the Bomber plane upon its own landing from the 14-minute mark of that first term. 18-10, 118 the final score for Virginia. 13-10, 88 the final score for Hamley Bridge. As we take a look at the respective season tales of the tape for both sides. We'll start with Virginia. Going way back to round 1. It was a 20-point win over Hummock's Watchmen away. And then they backed it up with a unfortunate 44-point loss at home to 2 Wells. But then a stirring victory over the reigning premiers Malala, who they went down to 6 years ago in the 2020 grand final. Last time Virginia have bobbed up on the last day of the Adelaide Plains season. 17-point win, their best win of the season, you'd think, although today would certainly give that one a shake, no question about it, away from home. And then 3 from 4 after they took care of United by 36 points. 4 from 5 after they atoned for Anglevale. And then 5 from 6 with a win over Balaclava, sitting pretty at that stage. But since then, though, after Hamley Bridge burst their bubble in round 7, it had fallen somewhat apart after that. 36-point loss. Then to the Eagles, 2 Wells, belted them by 73 points as injuries and unavailability started to take their toll on the senior side. And we've seen, unfortunately, the unfortunate continuing happenings of the reserves team. Then an 8-point loss to Malala in round 10 and a 70-point loss to Balaclava. So a snap a 5-game losing streak to get themselves back in with a huge opportunity to still play finals in 2026. While on the Hamley Bridge side of things, their season started with a big 76-point win over United, then a 40-point loss to Balaclava, a thrilling 2-point win in round 3 over Hummocks Watchmen, and unfortunately a 61-point loss at home to 2 Wells. A very strong 27-point win away against Malala in round 5. And a 68-point loss against Anglevale round 6. They started the original loss trail and loss run for Virginia until today by 18 points back home in round 7 when these two sides last met. And then a 30-point win over United, 49-point win over Balaclava. Knocked the Eagles. Well, they got knocked around by the Eagles by 82 points in our match of the day a few weeks ago. And then a 42-point loss to Anglevale. So sadly for them, that makes it 3 losses on the trot for them. As we now confirm, as Dino has asked me, will we go with Cooper Taylor for the Archies? I think he's done enough. Yep, we will give the Archies thongs and beanie to Cooper Taylor. The wingman, the fleet-footed number 2, 2 beautiful goals, arguably the goal of the day in the third quarter, and also did plenty of work to help set a lot of others up as well. So McCafferty probably a bit stiff in his return, but still, he won't mind that because he'll be enjoying a few lovely cold ones after a fantastic day's work in front of goal with 6. Matty Sharp riding shotgun nicely with 4. The skipper, Stephen Wellington, with 2. Michael Hood with 2. Kapara chiming in with 2 last quarter goals. And we mentioned Taylor as well. Cooper, our best on ground here on Filming Footy for Archies with the 2 also. On the other side of the coin, it was Zach Fairley with 4. 3 of those coming very early on. 2 in the first term, the first 2 of the game, and the first one of the second term. And he was able to put one in early in the last quarter to give the Bombers some hope still with the margin back at 17 points. But it was eventually snuffed out after that. Austin Redden, not bad at all with 3. Kane with 2. Thompson with 2. Luke Taylor with 1. Ash Parsons also with 1. That will do it here from Sneaky's Oval as the sun beautifully starts to set here in the lovely South Australian sky just northwest of Adelaide. Louis Bolzomi here, loving life and very honoured and privileged to be on the call for the first time, personally, in the Adelaide Plains Football League for Filming Footy. All thanks to Dartfish, Archies, UTF Trailers, Domain & Co. and Macron. And we also thank the Virginia Football Club and their sponsors, Bendigo Bank, Sneakies, Collins Transport, Wide Electrical and Pool Envy. Dino Proctor, you are a superstar. Good man, Alejandro, you also are a superstar. Mr. Pian Tadosi, you rest up well, fellas. And we'll catch you again next week. Thank you very much. Take care. Be good or be good at it.
Our name is derived from the Greek prefix macro.